Hi all. Super happy to be here with Alex. So we are going to talk about unicorns in fintech especially. And the first question to you will be about your experience in consulting. You started your career in consulting at McKinsey and Goldman Sachs. So how did it help you? Because I remember that the idea of Qonto came up from your experience with the traditional bank, with your partner Steve, and the name of the company was Smoke, yeah, Smoke.io. And then you just decided to create Qonto. And then how consulting, this experience, this background help you with the Qonto?
Hi, Dina. Hi, everyone. Very happy to be with you all. I think there were lots of elements and questions in your question, so maybe just to split that a bit, to give you a bit of context. So Qonto is indeed a fintech. We're 5 or 6 years old now. We started in France and now serve 300,000 small and medium companies across 4 markets, France, Italy, Germany, and Spain. And so Spain and Barcelona especially is very important to us. So one of our 4 markets and also a big hub where we have more than 100 people working not very far from here. And so what we do is what we call business finance management. So basically a professional account, like bank accounts, plus some services around that. So invoicing, bookkeeping, spend management, and basically making starting and running your business from a financial point of view much faster, easier, and more transparent than what is usually done with traditional banks. And so that's basically who we are and what we do. And indeed, we started that company 5-6 years ago with my co-founder Steve, after founding together our first business that was indeed called Smoke.io, in a very different industry, very different topic. But the very reason why we started Qonto is because we directly ourselves suffered the frustration or the pain of dealing with, let's say, traditional financial services with our first company. And so when that first company got acquired, we sat down and said, okay, what should we do now? We were happy working with one another, so we said, okay, let's build another company. And what problem should we try to solve? And we really wanted to solve this financial management problem, and so that's how we started Qonto in the first place. And so to get back to the beginning of your question, how has consulting helped? I think consulting and spending a couple of years in consulting was a very good foundation, and business foundations, and also working foundations. So you learn how to be organized, how to be structured, how to analyze a problem, how to work with a team. And also because I was lucky to work, as you mentioned, at McKinsey, which is a very international firm. Very early on, I worked with lots of different nationalities. Everything, of course, was in English and so on. So very, let's say, international context, which we have also now with Qonto. And of course, that's those let's say structured approach of some problems that we were trying to help our clients with at McKinsey was also useful when writing a business plan, working on an Excel spreadsheet, presenting our project to investors, raising funds, and so on. So of course, lots of things were very interesting in that period, let's say professional period. But I mean, being an entrepreneur has nothing to do, or not much to do, with being a consultant, clearly. And the best way to become an entrepreneur is just to be an entrepreneur. And so I think the best training for Qonto was actually that first company that we built in 2013. So from 2013 to 2016. And so with that first company, which was much smaller than Qonto, we had about 15 employees, 15, when today we have more than 900 employees, so very different scale. But that first company, we really learned, how how to get organized, how to split the work, how to convince investors, how to go through the ups and downs of the entrepreneurial journey. We had some good times, but also some very, 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 very tough times. And so we almost went bankrupt a couple of times, and in the end, it was kind of a success. We sold the company, we made a bit of money, and we invested that money into Qonto. But so like going through all this for real was definitely the best, way to learn how to be an entrepreneur, let's say.
Yeah.
And so that's also why when people ask me, like, if I want to start a company, when should I do it, and so on, I'm always answering, like, kind of the sooner the better, because it's very likely that maybe the first company will be, okay, but not amazing, or maybe will, not be okay, meaning, going bankrupt or not working at all. But probably the second or the third will be, much better, because you'll have learned quite a lot on the way. And so, that's definitely I think the learning. So a bit of consulting is not bad, but real experience on the ground and as an entrepreneur is, I think, is much more useful for our journey.
I see. Look, regarding this tough time, I assume here a lot of founders, they start their startups or companies, and they would like to know what challenges did you face when you just started Qonto?
I don't think we have enough time to explain all the challenges.
Let's speak about like three main challenges.
No, I'm joking, but like I think there are lots of challenges, but I think one is, like, at the beginning you don't really know where to start with. So I had my co-founder Steve and myself. We're the two of us in our apartment, but of course we didn't have an office. So I think we had, like, one day at my place, one day at his place, to change a bit the background, but basically we're working from home. So it means like no money from the beginning. So no money. I mean, a little bit of money because we invested. The money we made with the previous company, but like very limited. Of course. Attracting team members is tough because no one wants to work for you if you have very limited money, and if like the business is not live yet, and of course it's quite risky and so on. Like so motivation. Sorry? To motivate your team, it means? Yeah, to motivate, or even like just to, you don't know where to start. Like, if you post something on LinkedIn, no one sees it because you don't have, you have like just your personal account. Yeah. Like, so there are lots of challenges like that. But I think what we did, I think, pretty well from the beginning is really started from a problem that we had experienced ourselves, a frustration we had experienced ourselves, that we also checked with other entrepreneurs and small business owners around us. And we really focused very early on like, what is the product we want to launch, how do we iterate fast, and how do we really learn from our clients. So we really started from there, and we really focused on that. We didn't listen to all the people who are saying this will never work, because of course you keep on hearing that at the beginning. So we were kind of not listening to that, and so very much focusing on the foundations. Very early on we said, okay, we want to have a European company, so everything we do should be in English. That's just a small detail, but like. So the whole internal knowledge, internal documentation of the whole company was in English from day one, even though we were only operating in France at the beginning. The whole support, the whole product was in both French and English, because we knew that when we would like to expand across Europe, it would be easier if we already had the product and service in at least 2 languages. So kind of very deep in our DNA, we had also that ambition. The name also, Qonto, we chose a name that could work well in lots of different European languages. The domain was Qonto.eu. I mean, lots of small details like that, but like we're really with that European ambition, and focusing very much on the on service, on the product, putting a lot of energy on that. Also very much on customer support. We've always seen that for traditional banks or traditional financial services, the product was not always amazing, to say the least, but also the customer support was also very much a problem. And so we've put a lot of effort on both ends. And sometimes I believe that startups or fintech believe that we only need to work on the product and forget a bit about like the customer support side of things. And so especially if you want to scale and be successful at a larger scale, I think being quite early on, also paying attention to the level of the customer support is very important. And so when you look at the Trustpilot reviews or some other online reviews that we have, and we have a pretty amazing ratings, a lot of the positive comments are also around the customer support.
Yeah.
So not forgetting like that, I think is quite key. And of course, yeah, everything is thanks to the team. So the most important is how do you assemble the first team members. And the first team members, of course, you want to have people that are quite entrepreneurial, quite energetic, but also a bit jack of all trades, or or Swiss knife kind of people that can do a bit of marketing, a bit of operations, a bit of because you cannot hire that many people in the beginning. And of course, as you grow, you need to also have people that are a bit more specialized, a bit more experts in their domain. So that evolves also over time.
I wanted to ask you about scaling your business in terms of your team. So in an interview to EU startups, this media 4 years ago, you discussed scaling your business and your team. So as for today, I see you reached your goal, of course. But look, guys, it's very important. I'm going to read it because So the $5 billion valuation of Qonto was at the same time of Series D, of the company's Series D, was a record for a French startup. It's like amazing, yeah? And what's the question? What advice you can give to the founders who are sitting here right now, for example, and they want to be successful in the same way?
Well, I think first to be very honest. I think the context is a bit different now than it was versus what it was a year ago. So I think valuations are probably a bit less crazy, and then investors are a bit less, let's say, open to investing fast than they were a year ago. So we've been probably a bit lucky with our timing. But that said, I think we've had quite an amazing growth in terms of revenue growth, number of clients. I mean, from 0 to 300,000 clients in less than 5 years. Was quite an amazing growth. So I think, but when you look at the last round we raised was 486 million euros. So 486 feels like it's a lot of money, it is a lot of money. But the first round we did in 2016 was 1.6 million euro, and so 1.6 million euro for lots of companies today, let's say tech startups, still feels like a relatively small amount. But for us, it was already quite a big milestone, big step in 2016. So I think you really need to take it step by step.
Yeah.
6 years ago, I wouldn't have thought that I would be raising that 400 million euro or 400 plus million euro. So I think what we did is each step, each round, we said, okay, we are here. 1,000 clients. The next step is we want to get to 20,000 clients and to X revenue, but we also want to have 1 or 2 new features that we can show, we can ship fast, and have a product and tech team that is efficient and so on. And so basically, if you have you need to be ambitious, but also a bit realistic. And so if you have something for the next 12, 18 months, and you share that with investors, not only your existing investors, but also other investors, and you don't have to be too much into the details of the numbers. But if you say, okay, our ambition is that in the next 18 months, we'll more or less double our user base, and we'll launch these 2 new features. Then if a year later or 18 months later, you catch up with those investors, and you say, hey, we've doubled our number of clients, and we've launched these 2 features. All the investors, take notes when they do meetings, and if, of course, a year after, they compare what you've done versus what the notes they took.
To be in touch with the investors all the time.
Exactly, and if you're in touch with them continuously, and if you deliver on your promises or what you said you would be doing, then you build a very good trust relationship, and then they're, I think, very much more open to to being a bit less strict on numbers, amount, and so on, because what investors want is they want to be betting on the right companies. They care much more about is it the right company or not than is it minus or plus 10% or 20% the right
The right company in terms of values?
of values of being serious, meaning that saying what you do, doing what you say.
Yeah.
Of course, like values in terms of is it like a company we want to be invested in and working with these founders and that company, because then you have you have board meetings, you have meetings and so on. So if you have like no fit, no connection with the team or the project, it's a bit tough. But I think it's also very much from a business standpoint. Is it a good, healthy, robust business and clear trajectory or not?
Transparent as well, yeah. Look, I have an interesting question. How often did you take decisions based on your intuition?
I think quite a lot. I don't know the number, but quite a lot. And I think it's also one challenge is as you scale the company, you probably tend to do that less and less because in a way the risks are higher. You also have more people in the loop. You have experts in their domain, so that experts do probably less with intuition and more with like their knowledge, facts, and so on. But I think we still do it quite from time to time. And I think it's also, my view is that it's also like the beauty of being like a founder-led business, because we have some like some history from from the early days, and also sometimes we're able to take some risk that maybe a CEO that would have joined today would not be able to take, and that's also something that helps us remain agile and I think speed is still very much the key for a company like us, growing relatively fast. And if you want to go fast, sometimes you need to take fast decisions.
Yeah.
And so fast decisions sometimes also are based on intuition.
Yeah, it's sometimes risk as well. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, and in terms of your team, so by 2025, you plan to scale your team up to 2,000 people, yeah? And 50% of them you want to hire outside of France, yeah? So why it is really important for you?
Well, I mean, two aspects to that. So indeed, today about 900 employees and 300,000 clients. Our midterm goal, so for 2025, is 1 million clients. So we want to be serving 1 million entrepreneurs and small businesses across Europe. And to do that, we believe we'll have a team of about 2,000 people. And the reasons why that team is going to be more and more international is twofold. First, we're serving more and more markets. So today we're serving 4 markets, and so we need, to serve best the Spanish market. Yeah. It's better to have Spanish people in the team. So we're hiring more and more in Spain for that in our Barcelona office. And so the same in Germany, in Italy, and also in France, where we operate from day one. But we'll probably also expanding further to other new countries in Europe. And so if we go to to Portugal, we'll have some Portuguese team members and so on and so on. So that's one aspect. And the second aspect is we're hiring the best talent independently from their nationality to join us on all the topics, whether it's product management, design, engineering, fraud, fraud detection, risk, whatever the topics. And so these people, we're very happy to have a very diverse team. And so we already have, I think, 50 or more than 50 now nationalities on the team.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
So quite a lot of and so I think our sixth employee was by chance he's a Ukrainian engineer. And so, and then he was the first, let's say, non-French on the team, but like it was the first of a very long list. And now we're happy to, have more and more, talent coming from anywhere. We've been also lucky to benefit from the French tech visa. So the French government started a couple of years a French tech visa. So as the name suggests, is making it much easier for non-European talent to come to France and to get a visa very quickly. And so we've benefited from that quite a bit. So from, with talents coming from the US, from Canada, from Asia, from Africa, I mean, lots of non-European countries. And we want to do much more of that. So that's from a nationality point of view. We're also trying to have a more diverse team in terms of gender balance. So today we have 44% of women on the team, which is much better than the tech average, which is at 34. But we want to improve. So our target for the next couple of years is to be as close as 50-50 or even 50-50 as possible.
Yeah.
And so we're also working on that.
It's great.
As we speak, yeah.
I see. Okay. So look, after 10 years being an entrepreneur, you have your lessons, I guess so, So the main question is the most valuable lesson until today, for example, and then how the audience, founders, they can be on the journey to the unicorn, because we are talking about unicorns.
Yeah, I'm not sure unicorn is the main goal.
Yeah,
but indeed.
I hope for you it will be like IPO soon.
No, but I would say that. I mean, you said it in your question. Like, I started being let's say, an entrepreneur 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And Qonto became a unicorn, less than a year ago. So it took, let's say, 9 years to get there. So it's quite a long journey, quite
step by step.
Yeah, quite a marathon. And it was like not the first company, but the second company, and so on. So I think raised in total with the first and the second company, Qonto. So I think 6 or 7 funding rounds. So like it takes quite a lot of time, and so I think it's important to manage also like personal energy, because it requires a lot of energy. So you need to put a lot of energy in the adventure, but also it's kind of long distance.
Yeah.
So it's really about having trying to have a balanced life, trying to keep also like in relatively good physical shape, doing a bit of sports, and then because it's true, it's quite intense, it's quite long, and so also having the right the right balance in your life is also super important. So I don't know, I have 3 young kids. So it's also important for me to spend some time with them, and of course it's been sometimes a bit hectic. My wife also works quite a bit, so sometimes family life a bit complex, but it's also super important for me and super, I think, healthy that you can be an entrepreneur, have a company, but also have some other things in your life, because sometimes it can be very, very tough to be an entrepreneur, and so also having some days or times of the day when you do something else, even if you still have your company a bit in your in your head, is also, I think, super important to to keep the running in the distance, basically.
So speaking about productivity, you do sport, you eat healthy, you meditate, I guess.
I do not meditate, I do sports, and I do not eat very healthy. I really love things that are not super healthy.
but still, you're successful in your companies, and it's like quite big. So yeah, of course. So any advice to our audience, because we have some minutes more, we can tell them some recommendations. As I see, from your experience, to be fast, to take fast decisions, to be risky sometimes. What about negotiations? Should it be like fast, tough with your investors, which usually is like?
Well, I think we've been. I mean, I've seen all the different types. Like there were some rounds. I think our Series B, which was in 2018. We really didn't handle that well. So we had some really difficult negotiation, and also like it took quite a lot of time to raise our Series B. Series B was 20 million. So it's of course an important amount, but at that time, it was not like a crazy amount, but we were not very good. I think we were not really ready. We entered some discussions with investors without having a proper deck, without having a proper business plan, without having like everything ready. And so it took 3, 4, 5 months to raise that money. So it distracted us quite a bit. It took quite a lot of time from me. And it was really not efficient, and it was a bit stressful. So we also learned from that. Series D, on the other hand, I think we prepared very well. We had all the documents, all the questions, all the data very well, ready. And we were lucky with the timing and the context. So of course, you cannot prepare for everything. There is, and there is a bit of luck, of course, on the way. But I think, yeah, just being, organized, structured, and like not giving up is important. I think what's really important is to have kind of, milestones. You say like, for the next 12 months, I do not give up. I do not think of, oh, should I stop? Should I continue? Because otherwise, you freak out too much. And you just give all the energy you have for 12 months.
Yep.
And then after 12 months, you step back and say, okay, am I like, where we want or not? If yes, I continue, that's great. If not, well, maybe I change, I pivot, I stop maybe if it's not working well.
Okay.
But I think I think you need to have like sometimes when you think, and you need to have those times, frequently, but not too frequently, because between those thinking times, you need to act and boost and run and not think too much anyway.
Yeah, I have just the last question. Do you have your personal mentor or advisor or business coach?
Well, not really. I think I've been very lucky to have, to find my co-founder and to have a great, great relationship with him. So I think the key for, I think one of the keys for Qonto is really that, founding team and being very good at, supporting each other, and you always have like, some tough news, tough times, and so on. And every time there is such thing, one is a bit less, let's say, down than the other, and so like says, hey, don't worry, let's, we'll make it, and so on. And so, we kind of alternate that role.
I see.
And I think that's very, very important. And so the number one reason why some companies, fail is like the founding team is not aligned, or they don't get along anymore, and so on. And so we've been very lucky that we still have this great relationship, and which is a very strong base for the company.
Sounds great. Sounds amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. So we are done, I guess. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Dina.